All right, today we're going to talk about one of the coolest, most powerful tools in the English language, conditional sentences. Now, I know what you're thinking, grammar, but forget all that boring stuff. Seriously, think of these as keys that let you talk about, well, everything, from simple everyday facts and future plans to your absolute wildest dreams and even alternate pasts. Yeah, I know, it sounds a little bit like science fiction, right? But that is exactly what conditionals let us do. They're like little portals that let us jump between different realities, from the world of solid, undeniable facts all the way over to the land of pure imagination. So let's see how they actually work. Okay, so at its core, every single conditional sentence is built from two simple parts. First, you've got the if clause. This is what sets up the situation, the condition, something like, if it rains. Then you have the main clause, and that's the result. I'll stay inside. So you've got your if and your then, condition and result. Super simple, right? Now let's see what kind of amazing worlds we can build with just that simple structure. So our journey begins in the world of total certainty. This is our home base, our foundation. We call it the zero conditional, and it's all about things that are always 100% undeniably true. You can kind of think of this as the scientific conditional. It works just like dominoes, You push one and the next one always falls. If this one thing happens, then this other thing always follows. There's no doubt, no maybe about it. It's just pure, predictable fact. Cause and effect, plain and simple. And this example just illustrates it perfectly. This isn't someone's opinion, right? It's not a possibility. It's a scientific law of mixing colors. Every single time you mix blue and red paint, you get purple. It's a universal truth. And that is the perfect job for the zero conditional. But hey, it's not just for science class. It works for personal truths too, for our own habits. I mean, for this person, not sleeping well always means they're going to be grumpy. It's a reliable, factual statement about their own life. It's like their own personal law of nature, just as true for them as mixing paint is for an artist. Okay, so let's take just one step away from that absolute certainty and move into the world of what's really possible. This brings us to the first conditional, and this one is all about the likely future. So, we've left behind those universal, always true facts. Now we're dealing with specific, real-life situations. This is the language we use for our plans, for making predictions, for promises. It's not a 100% guarantee anymore, but it's really, really likely. I mean, look at this. It's a classic real-world plan, right? Passing the exams, that's a very real possibility. And if that happens, going to university is the probable result. This isn't some far-off dream. It's a real goal with a clear, achievable path. And here's another super practical one. Rain? Yeah, that is a very real possibility, especially here. So what's the plan if it does? Well, the picnic gets canceled. The condition is totally realistic, and the result is a clear plan of action. All right, you ready? We're about to take a much bigger leap now. We're leaving the world of likely plans way behind and jumping straight into the dream world. This is the territory of the second conditional. This is where we get to play with what if. And the key word here, you gotta remember, is unlikely. We are now exploring situations that probably aren't gonna happen, but boy, are they fun to imagine. This is the conditional you use for wishes, for daydreams, for all kinds of wild hypothetical scenarios. This is just the perfect example, isn't it? I mean, are you likely to win £1 million? Probably not, but we can totally imagine it, can't we? The second conditional is what lets us dive into that fantasy and think about all the amazing things we do. Oh, I love this one. This one's great because it just shows you the pure imaginative power we're talking about. The chances of aliens actually landing in your garden are, let's be honest, pretty much zero. But the sentence just creates this amazing, funny mental picture, doesn't it? It's all about pure imagination. Okay, so when you put them side by side like this, the difference just becomes crystal clear. Look, the first conditional is dealing with a real possibility, rain. The second conditional, a wild fantasy, aliens. See? One is for real-world planning, the other is for playing around with your imagination. That's the main difference right there. Okay, for our final stop, we're not going into the future. No, we're going into the past. Get ready because the third conditional is basically our time machine. It lets us look over our shoulder and imagine a world that never actually happened. This is really the language of hindsight, We use it to talk about things that are totally impossible to change because, well, they've already happened. They're in the past. This is the conditional for regrets, for all those what might have beens that we all think about sometimes. It's for exploring how differently things could have turned out. So in this case, the reality is the person did become an English teacher. That's a fact. But they're using the third conditional to imagine a totally different life path. It's like looking back at a door you didn't open and just wondering what was behind it. And wow, this one carries some real emotional weight, doesn't it? It's such a classic expression of regret. We've all been there. The past is the past. You can't change it. The studying didn't happen. But this conditional lets us explore that other imagined outcome. And that's a very, very human thing to do. So let's pull it all together. Think of it like a toolkit, and each conditional has its own special job. You've got the zero for stone-cold facts. The first for your real-world plans. The second is for your dreams and what-ifs. And the third lets you look back at the past. There you go, your complete guide to talking about reality, possibility, and imagination. And that brings us to one final thought. And I'm going to use the very tool we've just been talking about to ask it. So think about it. If you had known all of this just 5 minutes ago, what would you have understood better?